Okay. I'm ready when you are. I'm following your lead. Do I sound okay or should I put my AirPods in?
No, you sound great.
Okay.
Um, okay, guys, I'm here with Paul. Hey, Paul, how are you, man?
What's up, Will? I'm doing great, man. How about you?
You're in Spain, right?
I'm in Spain.
That's awesome. Well, hola. We are very excited to be here with you. And I was trying to tell people that data-driven design, you guys are leaders in the Alexa world, right? That there's tons of stuff that small businesses can do to harness the power of some of this modern technology. And you guys are putting on the Voice Conference, which we are so excited to be a part of. Looking forward to that. But then today, we're going to make what's called a flash briefing, right?
That's right.
What the heck is a flash briefing?
So a flash briefing is just a snippet of news, and it can be any kind of news. It's almost like a mini podcast. So picture like you get up in the morning and you can say, Alexa, what? And then you wake up.
That happens.
Absolutely. You got, you're a busy man. You got calls coming in. It's all good.
Scammers calling me from Mount Juliet. Yeah.
The telemarketers galore for sure. So yeah, you can wake up to a flash briefing. You can, the cool thing about it is you can be brushing your teeth. You can say, hey, Alexa, what's in the news? And then it can read you the NBA scores.
Is it like a mini podcast?
It's exactly like a mini podcast. It's about usually 3 minutes or less of content daily. So it's usually updated daily. And you can be in the shower and just say, hey, Alexa, what's my flash briefing? You can put all the different news clips one by one, whatever you're interested in, whatever subject matter you want, and it'll play all of them in the order that you have it. So that's what a flash briefing is.
Gotcha. And so really we've got kind of two angles for this, right? We have the end user who can, if you own an Echo or whatever, you can create your own stylized list of audible news, right? But then from the small business perspective, or in my case, the small, scrappy nonprofit perspective, we can create our own flash briefing that really highlights the work we're doing and allows people another way to get engaged. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's exactly right. So the data has been telling us for quite some time that more and more users are getting their information this way, not only from podcasting, but from these little mini podcasts on Alexa called the Alexa Flash Briefings. And so we understand that things have evolved from SEO to Facebook to Instagram. Users are getting their information from all these different places. So we want to be leaders at data-driven design in the field of telling small businesses and like mid-sized level marketing teams to say, hey, create audio content in the same way that you've created more visual content or written content. You could even read it and have it be an Alexa flash briefing. And then that is going to drive meeting your audience where they are and driving business for you in the long run.
Gotcha. So in a similar way that most of us who are in the kind of small to medium-sized world have figured out that we got to be creating our own content all the time, but we've mostly focused on kind of blog, now video, and good still images, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. We need to think on another layer, like kind of going 3D, if you will, and also adding audio into it.
That's exactly right. And for a small business owner, it can be very intimidating on their time commitment.
Sure.
And as you know, running a smaller, scrappy team, it's all about kind of repurposing and getting crafty with what you can do. So what we try to tell our clients and what we're educating businesses on really in this upcoming National Voice Conference is how you can take a piece of written content that you've already produced, or how you can record yourself doing something that you're already doing or already would do in a way to repurpose it for a podcast and an Alexa flash briefing so that you can reach your audience in another way without really having to spend that much extra time doing it. And one of our workshops at the Nashville Voice Conference is actually going to be where we are setting up a podcast account for everyone that attends the event.
Oh, that's amazing.
We are publishing it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and we are creating an Alexa flash briefing off of the RSS feed for the podcast.
Yeah. Very cool. So today, you and I are going to create an Alexa flash briefing for Corner to Corner, talking about kind of what we do and who we are in the city of Nashville, and also how we're involved with the Nashville Voice Conference, right?
Absolutely.
Sweet. And now understanding a little bit more about it, kind of wrapping my head, because like, hey, viewer on YouTube, I'm right there with you, trying to understand this. I think you're right that it would be best for us to do like, what is Corner to Corner? Like, what do they even do? Just an intro thing. And then how we're connected to the voice conference, and how we're trying to harness some of this technology to be more efficient and grow wisely. I think your initial feed on that was right. And then down the line, you can show me how to make these all the time, and then people can get our YouTube content plus this flash briefing. I'll be like all over that Ira Glass podcast life.
Awesome. Sounds good. Let's do it. So this will be Alexa flash briefing number 1 for Corner to Corner.
Great. I'm gonna get the big guy going here, y'all. There's Paul, all of his Espanol Zoom glory. Okay. All right, let me dial this in again. Cool. Should be fun. Sorry, just getting the stuff repositioned here.
It's all good, man. You're making me think of what you might be able to help us out with at the conference here. You got I forgot you had the video skills.
I don't know if they're video skills, but dude, we're getting on average, like 10 hours of viewing now on our YouTube channel a month, up from 0 in January.
That's awesome.
So I'll take it. Like, where would that be next year?
Keep going.
Yeah. All right, sweet. So let's make an Alexa skill.
All right, sounds good. So here's how I start my flash briefing. Yep. What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey from Data Driven Design. We are making the first Alexa flash briefing episode for Corner to Corner. So if you're listening on a flash briefing, I would advise you to go ahead and mute your device right now. And then that way when we say, get ready for it, mute your device. Alexa, about 55 times, your device doesn't go off a bunch of times. So I'm here with Will Acuff, the co-founder of Corner to Corner. Will, what is Corner to Corner? Who is Corner to Corner?
Yeah, so Corner to Corner is a faith-based nonprofit that exists to extend the hope of Christ in gospel word and loving deed here in Nashville. What that actually means is that we really care about loving our neighbor as ourselves and finding creative ways to do that. So we mostly focus on helping kids fall in love with reading so that the rest of their life gets easier, right? Reading is so fundamental. Obviously, that's why we had that crazy, cheesy program in the 80s, right? Bringing it back. But we also do economic development work because Nashville, in its growing and booming economy, is still leaving out a lot of our neighbors. And so trying to figure out how do we help neighbors grow so that they can support themselves and their families. And then our last section that we do is spiritual growth. So as you're kind of journeying in life, how are you wrestling with those bigger questions and where are you finding those bigger answers? But what that actually looks like, because that's all a bunch of fancy language, right, is we do programs for kids in local rec centers like Script to Screen, which helps kids fall in love with reading through their love of movies. We start by watching Black Panther, and then they read the script at the same time and they connect the dots that, oh my gosh, this thing I love started as reading and writing. And then from there, they make their own movie. We bring in pro-level people, like we had Brad Paisley's tour videographer come in and teach the kids about composition. And at the end, we have a red carpet movie premiere that really honors the kids and their creativity and highlights what their voice can bring to the community in a really positive way. And then on the economic development side, we're pouring most of our energy right now into something called the Academy. And this is a program that helps underestimated entrepreneurs plan, start, and then grow their own small business. And over the last 2 years, we've graduated 149 entrepreneurs. And according to the numbers from the U.S. government, right, the Small Business Administration, their data says that on average, those graduates will pull in about $3.4 million back into the neighborhood economy. So that's what we're up to. That's who we are, and we've been going since 2011. And Paul and the data-driven design team have been really key in helping us kind of harness some new technologies that are out there that help us outpunt our coverage, so to speak.
Love the sports analogy there. And so this being episode 1 of the Corner to Corner Flash Briefing, and you being able to add more and more content in the future to this, I'm sure the listeners will get more and more familiar with Corner to Corner, but there were two main things that really attracted me to Corner right away. And one of them is something that you talk about, where you talk about becoming part of a community and not necessarily starting a new community, right? Like how do you find where the community already is, to kind of steal your words. And so tell us a little bit about that concept and how you were able to identify these 2 programs that you've highlighted so far.
Yeah. So there's often been in the nonprofit world this idea of like, I can fix you, right? Which I think is not true, first of all, right? And has built into it this idea of like almost paternalism or condescension, right? And we take an approach that's called the asset-based community model, where you already see what the community is doing that is beautiful and amazing, and you try to amplify that, right? And so finding community, like some of these neighborhoods in Nashville that we serve and walk alongside have amazing and beautiful things happening already, right? One of those being like the local rec centers, which are hubs of life. And we can come alongside those rec center directors, the staff, and the people who are already in community there and just say, what could we be doing together that would benefit kids and parents and families? So that's kind of that approach, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing that really attracted me to Corner was the academy. There's a lot of entrepreneurship programs and even entrepreneurship schools out there that are really, really focused on like how you can go get funded or, get investors and things like that. And what resonated with me about the academy is that it's not about that at all. It's not about judging someone's business. It's about supporting their business and helping them in a practical way activate it and earn extra income to support themselves or their families. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we, the Academy was really born out of a desire to see how we could amplify, again, neighbors' skills and talents and passions, right? For things that they were already maybe doing a little bit on the side, but how could you grow that 20, 30%, right? Using some modern business tools, essentially, right? So the way I like to think about it is that talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. So the Academy is building on-ramps to opportunity in every neighborhood in the city, right? And then we take an approach where we want to be empathy-driven, right? So many startup kind of accelerators have this like authority thing where it's like, do this, and we only care about you because your idea, right? But we flip that on its head and say, we actually care about you first, right? What does it look like to create a community of empathy where we are journeying together so that you're not feeling alone or isolated? Because all of us know who've started something, you're thinking about it all the time. It can be so isolating. So how do we create a community of support while also journeying together on these ideas so that we can take a business dream and turn it into a money-making reality that actually benefits the whole community? And then the other big piece that you mentioned is I think we're in a high growth obsessed culture right now. Everybody wants to be the next unicorn. If you go to like an entrepreneurial thing, everyone explains what they are by saying, we're the Uber of this, right? Like, that's so silly. Like, I heard somebody like, we're the Uber of snow cones. I'm like, no, you're not. That's not a thing, So what we try to say is, no, like high growth, we do need some of those, but the beating heart of the economy is the mom and pop. It's the family business. Those become the economic drivers for what I like to call the block economy, right? Of employing 5 to 10 to 15 people that really change lives. And so we try to emphasize start small so you can start now. And so, yeah, that our approach has been really different, but people have responded to it tremendously. And we're actually expanding into 6 sites this fall. And we're right now on a funding round trying to see if we can't get foundations to support us, so that next year and then years to come, we could do 10 sites every fall and every spring and try to graduate 200 new entrepreneurs every year. That's the goal.
That's amazing, man. I'm super proud of you guys. I think it's really refreshing to have a group of people building a community around it being not only okay, but actually really cool to build like a business that nets $10,000 in a year or $30,000 in a year. That's significant. And I think more entrepreneurs need to be proud of that. And they need to be focused on being able to be, learning to love the process and not necessarily the dollar amount with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that we have seen, we've had people who've come out of the program and are making $500 extra a month, and that's perfect for them. Right. And then we've had other people, like we had one, a gentleman who he went from, and he's asked me many times to share this story. So this is okay to share, but he has asked me many times to say like, hey, make sure people know this. I was sleeping in my car and now I own 3 of my own vans for my cleaning company. Right. And last year he closed $285,000 worth of business. And he's got his own office space. So we have people kind of all over the map on what that looks like for them, but it's really helping people to know themselves well enough to define success for them and not be influenced by necessarily all kind of the voices out there.
So Will, you and I met, I guess, like about 2 years ago-ish at a Nashville Chamber coffee event. And ever since we met, we've been...
I've been to, by the way.
Same here.
Edit that out? I don't know. I am joining the Chamber, so shout out to the Chamber. We're working on it.
Shout out to the Chamber. I'm still a member of the Chamber, and they're great. They've actually hooked me up with some love for the Nashville Voice Conference, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, Jordan and her team are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So Will, you and I have basically tried to figure out ways to talk to each other, and now with this flash briefing, we have a reason to lock in a talk consistently for the listeners of the flash briefing. But before we wrap up the first episode, is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything else up your entrepreneurial sleeve, your community-focused, giving back entrepreneurial sleeve that you want to hit on in this episode?
Well, yeah, I want to highlight, as my camera falls apart over here, I want to highlight 2 things. First, I want to say thank you to Paul and the Data Driven Design team. They're putting on the Nashville Voice Conference, which is gathering together leaders in this industry, as well as developers and entrepreneurs and business leaders to help highlight what this kind of work can do and what this kind of thinking can bring to a business. And so, yeah, just grateful to be included. And they've gone above and beyond. I'm saying this to my YouTube folks. They've gone above and beyond and have agreed to donate all of the proceeds to Corner to Corner. Like, no one does that. Like, I just want to say that. Like, no one does that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're pumped to be a part of that. The other thing that I'd love to highlight is Corner to Corner is growing so rapidly, but our revenue hasn't grown at pace, right? And there's tons of small businesses that know exactly what that feels like, right? And so we've been trying to figure out what are some innovative ways that we could maybe change that story a little bit. And so we recently, about 10 days ago, launched a pilot program called carebnbnashville.org. That's care, C-A-R-E, right? carebnbnashville.org. And really, it's an opportunity for Airbnb hosts to invest in life-changing work that's happening in the neighborhoods they already know and love, right? And in exchange for investing, they become a monthly supporter. We're trying to suggested around $75 a month, which is less than 1 cleaning fee, right? So this is a very affordable way to invest in life-changing work. They in turn get this awesome fridge magnet for their house that highlights what they do. They also get this great placard for their kitchen or